Thank you for coming to this Chinese section. Welcome. So keeping with the 53 years tradition of the ICSTLL, we are happy to host the following talk in Chinese. So the talk will be given by Yushan Wang and Zhao. The name of the talk, or the title of the talk, is a Diachronic change of Chinese name of Sugarcane and the synchronic distribution of the name in ethnic minority languages. Welcome. So I would
Thank
leave
you.
the stage to you.
Thank you. I will share. So can you show my PPT? Can you see my PPT?
Not yet.
No?
No.
Not yet? Sorry. Is that okay?
Yeah. Now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Thank you.
Okay. So my title is the Diachronic change of the Chinese name of sugarcane and the synchronic distribution of the name in ethnic minority languages. Sugarcane first appeared in pre-Qing period literature, the Songs of Chu, with the name Zhe. It was then addressed as Zhe Shu. It was then addressed as Zhe Shu, Zhe, Zhu Zhe, Du Zhe, Shu Zhe, Gan Zhe, Gan Zhe, diachronically. The name is different in Mon Khmer, Dagdaya, and Tibetan Burma languages. Through a diachronic comparison of the name in Chinese and the synchronic study of the name in ethnic minority language in China, this paper holds that Ganzhe is a loanword from Sanskrit, a transliteration of Sanskrit word chakra. Mon Khmer people borrowed either from Chinese mi or from Dagdaya oil for sugarcane. Dagdaya people either used the original oil or borrowed from Chinese mi for sugarcane, while in Tibetan Burma language family, some languages borrowed the Chinese word zhe or mi. Some borrowed the Sanskrit sakra. The distribution of the names indicates that southern China was one of the original places for sugarcane, but the sugar production was undeveloped and the sugar culture was introduced to China in pre-Qing period. Ganzhe was a loanword, appeared in pre-Qing period. The development of the name reflected the cognitive habits and the perception of Chinese, and also the long history of cultural exchange between China and the world. The first viewpoint of my paper is Ganzhe and Shimi are cognitive loanwords from Sanskrit word chakra. Shimi is translated from chakra. Shi means stone, corresponds to chakra, indicating the shape and the solid of sugar, while mi is a supplement in meaning, indicating the honey-like taste. The different names the different names of sugarcane
the different names of sugarcane in Chinese
corresponds to chakra. Among them, 这 and 这 both have the similar pronunciation to 时 and corresponds to shak. Other names of sugarcane also have a close pronunciation to 这. Our point is Chinese name 甘蔗 is a loan word from Sanskrit denoting a plant which can produce 食蜜, with 甘 as a supplement denoting the sweet taste and 蔗 as the main body of the loan word. Look at this picture. Yeah, here is 食蜜. This is construction of the sound in old Chinese, and this 食 corresponds to chakra, shock. Some linguists such as Ji Xianling and Wang Jingliu have made a convincing study through in different approaches showing that 食蜜, this one, 食蜜 is a transliteration of the Sanskrit word chakra. Chakra means sugar. Chakra was a kind of sugar refined from sugarcane juice in ancient India, which was similar to but not exactly the same as refined white sugar today. Sanskrit word chakra and exu means sugarcane, appear frequently in Indian Buddhist sutra Jataka, which is a sign that India invented the leading technique to produce chakra from sugarcane in as early as the 5th or 6th century BC, and the chakra was spread to the world. Many languages borrowed from Sanskrit word chakra, such as Latin, English, French, German, Arabic, Persian, Burmese, Cambodia. It is generally believed that the communication between China and India began in Western Han dynasty when Zhang Qian was on his mission to the West Land. Zhang Qian saw in Dasha the cloths made in Sichuan and brought to Dasha via India, which means there had been a channel of exchange between India and the southwest of China. So it was very possible that chakra had been introduced to China via the channel in spring and autumn period. Just like people in non-producing areas, they learned that mango trees are tropical plants after eating mango. It is the same in the case of sugarcane. In ancient times, sugarcane was not grown in central China or north regions. People heard of or seen chakra first before they learn about sugarcane, the raw material for making chakra, and gradually learned that sugarcane was also grown in southern Chu. It's just that the metals was already invented in central China at that time, so the southern ethnic groups in China did not pay much attention to the cultivation and the utilization of sugarcane, and the sugar making skill was not as good as Indians' chakra. Therefore, the southern sugarcane and sucrose culture did not have influence on the central China region. Therefore, the Chinese language did not borrow the words related to sugarcane or sucrose from the southern ethnic minority languages. Instead, it's borrowed from Sanskrit chakra, from which 甘蔗 was derived, referring to a plant that can produce chakra, or in Chinese, that is 食蜜. This is in line with the rule of word formation in Chinese language. Various changes in the word form of 甘蔗 vividly reflected the gradual process of Chinese people's understanding of sugarcane. At first, because people didn't know much about sugarcane in the South, they thought that sugarcane was a tree for making stone honey, chakra. 实密 so they borrowed chakra to refer to sugarcane, from which a Chinese homophonic word 这 was derived to denote sugarcane. The formation of the Chinese character 这 indicates a plant or a tree that produces 实密 chakra. Then homophonics such as 朱这、甘蔗、都这、蜀这、甘蔗、甘蔗 are formed diachronically. The term 甘蔗 perfectly describes the characteristics of sugarcane, such as the stem is like a pone, sweet as honey, roots and herbs, 鱼形物, an interpretation of oracle bone inscriptions believes that the word 树, this one, 树, in oracle bone inscriptions is a picture phonetics character. 石 and 树 are homophonics. 树 and 这 树 and 这 are homophonic. 这 and 这 are homophonic. 这 and 石 are homophonic. And 石 is homophonic with Sanskrit chakra. The word 石 shows a close homophonic relationship between 这 and 这 and the Sanskrit sound chakra. Therefore, we believe that 甘蔗 should be a Sanskrit loanword with 甘 as an additional ideographic component and 这 as the main transliteration word. 甘蔗 and 实密 can be regarded as two foreign words with the same Sanskrit origin in chakra. The second viewpoint of my paper is regarding the word sugarcane. We believe that the Chinese language borrows Sanskrit word chakra to denote sugarcane. Tibetan and Burmese borrow Sanskrit. Bai language borrows Chinese. Khmer, Dai, and Zhuang have their own term, indicating that they have a long history of planting sugarcane, but with limited skills in making sugar, which is influenced by the Han Chinese people. The Miao language borrows the Chinese word tang to refer to sugarcane. The Dong language, Mian language, and Yao language borrow the Chinese word 甘蔗. Wa, Belang, Khmu, and the Vietnamese borrowed the Chinese mi for sugarcane. Look at this picture. Maybe we can see. Through the comparison of the loanwords, it can be seen that India's sugarcane civilization and the sugarcane culture is the most developed. The fact that Chinese language does not use mi to refer to sugarcane, but use 这 to refer to sugarcane shows the influence from Sanskrit and Indian sugar culture, rather than the influence from Vietnam or other parts of the South. Other ethnic groups of the Sino-Tibetan languages are mainly influenced by Indian Sanskrit or Chinese. Although the indigenous words of Dagdaya languages suggest that they had been planting sugarcane in South China in very early times, their sugar-making skills was not so developed as that in India. Instead, they received some influence from Chinese language. Yeah, you see here, this is Chinese 甘蔗, this is Sanskrit chakra. Many places in Southeast Asia are suitable for planting sugarcane. Sugarcane are even indigenous to some places of this area, but there are sugar palms, which is an alternative for sugarcane. So their sucrose production is not developed, and some words are borrowed from Sanskrit, or Chinese instead. Language originated from human activities. The diachronic change of the Chinese name of sugarcane reflects the gradual process of Han Chinese nationalities' understanding of sugarcane. The synchronic distribution of the name of sugarcane in ethnic minority languages reflects the history of cultural contact and exchange among ethnic groups. In the history of East Asia, the language contact among ethnic groups has a long history, and word borrowing is quite common and also an important means of vocabulary expansion. It is an inevitable result of language and cultural contact and an evidence of exchange among ethnic groups. When examining the etymology of foreign words, instead of making far-fetched or irrelevant comparison of sound and meanings, we studied a number of literatures and languages to find out about the history development of the words. Due to the COVID-19, we can only present our paper through the internet. We'd like to hear your opinion so we can get a better understanding on the name of sugarcane. 甘蔗, please contact us as the following address. Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you.
谢谢.
Thank you.
谢谢.
Thank you for your presentation.
Okay, and I want to share another part of the name of sugarcane in different languages, such as this. Can you see? Can you see it? This is Tibetan. Yeah, Kara.
We're still looking at your PPT, so I think you would need to unshare and then reshare the new window.
Reshare the window. Okay. This one, can you see?
Yes, good.
Okay. Yeah, this is Tibetan sugarcane. This is the name in Tibetan, Kara or Burashin. This is sugar, Shinkara. I think they are literation of Sanskrit chakra, and this is Bai. Bai language. Bai language is borrowed from Chinese Ganza, Gaza. This is Soto. Soto is transliteration of Chinese 砂糖, 砂糖. And this is Yi language. It doesn't have no relation with Sanskrit or Chinese. This is Dai language. They have their own term, oil. But from the sugar, the name of the sugar, we can say it was transliterated from Chinese, nam oil, that is 甘蔗水, nam oil 好, 白糖, nam oil 碘, 红糖. And this is Zhuang language. They also have their own term, oil, like Dai people. But sugar are also transliterated from Chinese, 糖, 薄糖, 红糖. And Dong language sugarcane are borrowed from Chinese 甘蔗 甘打 甘打 甘打. 麦当也是 Chinese tang tang. This is Miao language, Mian language, and Yao language. They are translated from Chinese tang or 甘蔗 甘蔗. This is Wa language, that is me. And maybe it's borrowed from Chinese mi. But sugar is borrowed from Thai people, ram oil, buying ram oil, how. And this is Blanc language. They are both borrowed from Chinese mi. Camus comment the song, yes, also borrowed from Chinese. This is Sanskrit. Exo is sugarcane. Chakra is sugar. Burmese gram, such sakra. Mon camel, camel language. Sugarcane is original. They have their own term, but sugar is borrowed from Sanskrit chakra, ska. Vietnamese is borrowed mi, is borrowed from Chinese, and dun is borrowed from Chinese tongue. So we can see the picture, the comparison like this. Discussions are welcome. Thank you.
Yes, so we're gonna have a Q&A question section. So please ask any question.
I have a question. Is this entire analysis based on analyzing these words in the different languages? Do you have historical records or possibly like biogeographical information or other non-linguistic sources that support the analysis?
Pardon?
Is the theory presented here, is it only based on the language? Or is there a history that says sugar was transported from country to country?
From I think I studied from history record, history literature. There are many evidence that sugar was transported to China. You know, in its ancient name of sugar in Chinese is 石蜜. 石蜜 is appeared in the literature, in many historical literature. So not only compared in languages, but in history literature study, I compared these two words.
What was the name of the spring and autumn period traveler? You mentioned someone that traveled to India.
Not to India, to 大夏, 张骞. 张骞出使西域, to 大夏.
So what is Daxia?
Daxia is an ancient city in western, maybe close to Xinjiang district, Zhongya, Middle Asia, in Middle Asia, an ancient city.
And I had a second question. You say that a lot of these terms are borrowed into the Shaoshu Minzu languages from Mandarin, Guanhua. Is it possible that Guanhua borrowed it from these languages? Is that a possibility?
I don't think so because they have their skills to make sugar. Their skills to make sugars is undeveloped. From the from the name of sugar, you can see they are underdeveloped. The the technique of sugar is undeveloped, so it should be minority language borrow this words from Chinese from Mandarin.
You can just, if you're eating ganja, you can just like cut it and rip off the skin and eat it. But if it's baitong, that requires the like cultivation skills to like process it and so on. So I could see like baitong, this term being in Mandarin, then getting borrowed. But if it's ganja, like the plant, that's just where ubiquitous, that's everywhere. Is it the case that shared terms among minority languages are possibly, because they're so similar from language to language, is that evidence that it was borrowed from some more broadly spoken language like Mandarin?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just think Shimi is from Sanskrit and Ganja is from Sanskrit chakra too. I don't think it's from minority language or other language. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
May I ask a question?
Oh, thank you.
What aroused your interest in analyzing this term? I'm just curious.
Because my native language is Wa language. The native language of my husband is Bai language. So we speak two different language, and I found that Ganja in different language has different name. So I try to find out and I try to find out the origin of ganja. And when I read a paper written by Zhi Xianling and Wang Jingliu, they were talking about the name Shimi. So I found that Shimi is connected with ganja. So I am interested in this, in the name of sugarcane.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Well.
Excuse me. Can you hear?
Yeah. I can.
Okay. My question is there any phonological process during the change of the term? Since you mentioned all this term being used in different languages, there must be some phonological evidence to explain some sound change. Otherwise, it's all conjecture rather than linguistic evidence.
Yes, there are some evidence of the sound change. For example, in Cantonese, shi, it should be there a tail, shark. Is that Mr. 张老师，那个 广东话里面是不是那个石头的石有一个韵尾是 shark？
Yeah.
对 shark， 对 shark。But in Mandarin, in modern Mandarin, the tail is 脱落怎么说
Cut off.
Yes, the tail is get off. So
Yeah.
this is the change. You can say the sound change of 石。
But
Yeah.
but this is
I'm sorry,
a general, but this is a general language change not related to this particular term. So yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for the response.
Thank you. Thanks for your talk. It's a very interesting talk.